Okay, very happy to be joined today by Andrea Amaro, who is fighting on Fury FC 96. That is September 22nd, taking on Amber Terrell, Houston, Texas. You can watch it on UFC Fight Pass. Andrea, how are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. I mean, we've had nice weather here in the UK, considering it's the UK, but you're out there in Vegas, so I'm sure things are going pretty well.
Yes, it's hot here.
Yes, very hot.
It's
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, I saw you had a busy morning down at the UFC PI. You're there working with Valentina Shevchenko. Of course, she has her
Yes.
trilogy fight against Alexa Grasso coming up just a week away at the Sphere, of course. How has that been?
It's been awesome. I've trained with Valentina before about maybe 3.5 years ago. And she came back around again to El Paso. She took a liking to one of my coaches here. And so 3.5 years later, I'm back with her. And it's nice. Like it's really nice. It's a lot different than the first time that I had came to train with her, and it's I don't know, it's just an awesome opportunity, awesome training, good people.
Had you been out to the UFC PI before, or is this your first time?
I had been up there before. I had been up there before, but I never explored. So I did today she actually took us like to the other side of the PI, like aside from like, the workout area.
Yeah.
So we actually went to go have lunch there and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, just from speaking to people that have been there, people in UFC, people that aren't in the UFC, it just sounds like a crazy facility.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like an up and comer and stuff and you're going in there, I mean, you'll see your favorite fighter in there somehow.
Yeah, and for like an up and comer like yourself, it's perfect because it's an opportunity. It's the kind of facility that not many people on your level, no disrespect to them, but they're not a lot of people aren't going to get that opportunity.
No, no, I'm very grateful and I would say blessed to be able to go like experience stuff like that.
So how did that, you mentioned it a little bit there, but how did working with Valentina come about? Was it just a case of her coming round, working with you guys, she liked your coach, or was there kind of more to it?
No, that's pretty much what it was. She
Yeah.
came around, like I said, like 3.5 years ago, she invited us to train with her. She liked us. And then this past season on The Ultimate Fighter, she thought of my coach and
Yeah.
she brought him on. And then she's like, hey, I want to finish my last training month in El Paso. Came to El Paso, and then she has us here last couple of weeks here in Vegas. So
Yeah.
that's all that happened.
One question though. Does she let you drink water during the sessions? Because that clip went viral from the Honor Fighter of her just not letting her team drink any water.
It's not even like no, I would have to say no, but also it's just like the trainings are so intense and they're so
Yeah.
fast paced. Like it's 2 hours nonstop. Like so before
Mm.
you even know it, like training is up and done.
Yeah.
So there's not even a breather really. So her training is intense. It's 2 hours nonstop. I know people are like, and where in between, but there's no in between. It's just from one thing to the next to the next. Very intense 2 hour trainings.
Yeah, that's 2 hours nonstop in a desert as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can imagine. So it's just the way she trains, and I understand it.
Yeah, obviously you've been in the room with them. We're gonna come on to talk about your fight in a moment, but you've been in the room with Valentina. How do you see that one playing out? It's a huge fight for her, the third fight with Alexa Grasso.
I don't know. She's looking pretty sharp. Um, Me and my best friend over here, we were talking about she looks really focused. Um, I think it's just a matter of, Valentina versus herself.
Yeah.
That's what I think it comes down to. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So she's been working, and I think she's going to take it. I think she might take it this time around.
Yeah, and obviously we touched on this a little bit with the PI, but just for yourself, you're 7 fights into your career. You're really focusing on that development. You're at that point. So
Yes.
working with Valentina and Jocelyn Edwards as well, who's also in the UFC, but working with Valentina, who is someone who's been at such an elite level for so long, and also you're working with her at a time where she's peaking. Like it's not like the Ultimate Fighter where she's out of camp and she's just helping these guys. She's putting the work in herself right now too.
Yes.
How beneficial is that for you at this point of your career?
I would say it's super beneficial. It also shows me areas that whether I'm lacking or exactly, how well I'm doing, and I'm doing something right. So I feel in that aspect it has really helped me and given me like a boost of confidence, I should say.
Yeah, and then obviously just a week after Valentina's fight at the Sphere is your fight, Fury FC 96. Amber Terrell is the opponent. What do you know about her and what are your thoughts on her?
Um, I know she's moving up a weight class from, I believe she was fighting at the 105 weight class. I just know that she's a scrapper. She's a tough girl and she's gonna come in there. She's coming in to fight, and that's pretty much what I know about her. So those are my thoughts. And so I know when I go in there, it's just, I'm gonna fight. I want to fight her.
Yeah, and obviously flipping that, of course, with UFC Fight Pass, having their relationship with Fury, you're going to get a lot of people seeing this fight that maybe haven't seen you fight before. Um, so for those people who are coming into this and going to see you for the first time, how do you describe yourself in the cage and like what's the image you want them to have in their mind coming into the fight of what Andrea Amaro is like as a fighter?
I guess I would have to say that I'm very I guess relentless in whatever I do. I go in there and it doesn't matter if I'm in a bad spot or not. I'm very I overcome, I feel. Um so I just feel like I'm relentless in that aspect. You're gonna see me fight. Like I'm in there, I'm gonna give it my all and I'm gonna go down swinging. So that's just the way I am.
Yeah. Second fight in Fury, obviously, it's a promotion that's close to you in Texas. You're based in El Paso. Obviously, the fight's in Houston. You're not there in a minute. You're in Vegas now, of course. But you've been with Invicta before, Combate as well, two pretty big organizations, especially in terms of regional MMA. What about Fury from your experience last time stands out and is perhaps unique compared to other places you fought?
Um I would have to say in their production, in their caring for their fighters, I would say that would be the main aspect that makes them unique. And
Yeah,
and not just that, but it's also like fighters that are within Texas. So it's like,
yeah,
they're based out of Texas. They have us fighters coming from Texas, so taking care of like us, giving us that trying to get us to get seen, Texas talent. So I think in that aspect it makes them unique.
yeah. I mean, obviously, you'd say they're maybe a similar size to an LFA, and LFA bring people in from all over. They got people from Brazil, whereas a large portion of that Fury roster is Texas based. They spoke to Justice Torres a couple of days ago, who was supposed to be on this card. He's now moved to the October card. I spoke to Michael Aswell as well, former featherweight champion. He's just been on the Contender Series. Like you say, it's a wonderful showcase for Texas MMA.
Yeah, and so I'm just happy to be a part of it, and Eric has just treated me very kindly, so I appreciate them.
Yeah. I do want to touch on Invicta though, because obviously you fought with them October of last year. Looked very good, first round finish. Then it was a bit of an awkward time because they had a bit of a break from running shows. They
Mhm.
only just came back these last couple of months. Has there been conversations with you about possibly going back to Invicta now they're running shows again? Because obviously you got a very good finish in that fight. It seems like you'd be someone they would want to keep around in this kind of new era that they're going for. Has there been
Yeah,
talks there?
Yeah, there was, Shannon, she was super awesome, but she was really straightforward when we were trying to look for fights at the time. And she's like, I'm not sure when, those deals were going to go through.
Yeah,
And so my managers and I just decided that we would just go and move on and look for other opportunities. And I don't know, I mean, hopefully maybe, in the future, but for right now, like I am tied down to Fury
yeah,
um for the next two fights after this. So,
mm,
that's right now that's my promotion, that's my home.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, is the priority right on Fury, but of course, like you say there, you're tied down for 3 fights now. So of course that's the focus, and then moving forward from there, who knows, right?
Yeah,
You
who
still
knows? I don't know.
Yeah, you see a lot of people. I mean, you're on a bit of a win streak now. You see a lot of people from Fury just that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks that have gone on to do contender series. That seems like a real pathway from Fury.
Yeah, and it seems like that it's not too far away. It's not a so far-fetched idea that might happen. So I'm excited whatever comes.
Oh, the way you said that, that makes me think there's been some conversations. Has there been some conversations?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah,
But I never I never like to say stuff like
of
that
course, of
like
course.
for certain because for me it's like a one fight at a time. One fight at a
Yeah,
time, let me do my job. Let me go knock these fights out.
perfect, perfect. And like you say, you're knocking these fights out, but you're still early in your career, 7 fights. So there's a lot of development at this point, like we touched on. Few months since that last fight. What's going to be different about the Andrea Amaro stepping into the cage in a couple of weeks to the Andrea Amaro that we saw back in May?
Um, I hope that my MMA will be well put together. The hardest thing in fighting is, you're focusing and trying to better in all aspects of the game, but um, you but there's always things to work on. And so I feel like one of my things were putting things together. Actually, that last fight I feel like was a really, for me, was a bad showcase. It felt like I was having a bad fight day. That first round, I took a lot of hits. It took me a while to get into the fight. Um, and I overcame, I got the job done. But ultimately I want to go out and showcase that I'm able to do everything and uh, show a better, faster version of myself.
Is there a reason in your mind that May was like that, or was it just things happen in fights?
No, it just things happen in fights. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you rebound, sometimes you just it took me a while to wake up. I don't know.
I mean, you see that with guys all the time. It happens, I guess, right? Um,
Yeah.
um, we have a bit of a quick fire segment, so I'm just gonna ask you some quick fire questions. Okay. Favorite food,
Pasta.
favorite drink.
Dr. Pepper.
Adrian is will like you for that answer. Um, favorite breakfast cereal.
Mmm. That's so hard. Let me think. Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, guy I interviewed a couple of days ago said Fruit Pebbles too. Um, yeah. Favorite movie,
Ooh, I'm gonna have to say, Step Brothers,
favorite TV show,
Adventure Time,
favorite musician,
Machine Gun Kelly,
favorite sport other than MMA.
running. I love cross country.
Um, favorite fight. We'll go favorite of your fight and favorite fight of all time.
Um, my favorite fight, I would have to say I was an amateur um against Tegan Ring. It was in Albuquerque for a Jackson series. That one was my favorite fight. Um, and my favorite fight of all time, I would have to say Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Weili.
Yeah. Favorite fighter.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Has Valentina had words with you about that? You can't be
No.
saying that around Valentina.
Don't tell her. I guess I just said it because it was from my weight class, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course, of course. Funniest person you've met in MMA.
Um, in MMA, I would have to say, I don't know. I don't have one. I don't have one.
Okay, okay. Best piece of advice you've been given.
Um, Fighting is not a race, it's a marathon. So, as fast as I think that's the best advice I was given, everyone wants to make it to the top super quick and, you know, um, everyone's in a rush to get there, but it takes time. Things happen, obstacles happen, life happens, and it's a long distance race it was described to me, and it was a
Yeah,
perfect way for me to understand and get, that this was going to be it's for the long run.
perfect, perfect. Want to thank you for taking the time today, Andrea. You can see her in action September 22nd, UFC Fight Pass, Fury 96. Give us the hard sell. When you step into the cage with Amber Terrell, what can the fans expect?
They can expect um an exciting fight. That's what they can expect.
Perfect. Like that's what people want, right? Exciting fight. Simple as that. Thanks for the time, Andrea, and best of luck. Looking forward to watching.
Thank you.